Hello, welcome back
to the
WandaVision
Aftershow.
Aftershow. And today we're talking about episode 5.
Yeah.
I'm Han of Han Talks First.
And Rice Krispie, the Rice Krispiest crispy that they're, I don't know.
My lovely little girlfriend here. And we come here every Friday and talk about the WandaVision TV series. And today was a great one. It was so good. And we're going to try and keep it linear so we can. It was worth the wait.
I feel like we're going to still go in like 50 tangents, but you know.
Oh, yeah.
Can't be avoided.
Here's how the show is going to work today. We're going to tell you our general thoughts, and then we're going to walk you through this episode, and then we're going to end talking about the major event that happened in this episode. So if you want to just skip to the end to hear our thoughts about that, go ahead. But we have a lot of cool things to talk about today otherwise. So why don't you go first? What were your general thoughts on this episode 5?
My God. I mean, I was so excited. I suddenly forgot that it was even going to be Friday. And then I'm like, wait, oh my God, it's Friday. Remember I was telling you like, oh, Thursday's tomorrow. Like we can watch WandaVision tomorrow. And you're like, wait, what? But now okay, oh my God. Now it's the wait for next week again. It was so intense. We got inside and outside world action today, which I'm really excited about. So we still are starting to learn more about what's going on at the same time that it's kind of unraveling, like breaking apart in a way, but not really. But oh my God. I know we're going to go deeper into like what happened once we get into it, but so far I'm just really excited, kind of creeped out, very creeped out, and just shocked. And I got slightly spoiled for this week. It wasn't even this episode, but it was amazing. And I'm going to pass it on to you.
Yeah, it did have a lot of creepy elements in this one. I love when it breaks the tone and shifts into more of like the darker stuff. I will say, first of all, this is pre-recorded, so if you are watching this live, sorry we couldn't do it live, but we will be in the chat room with you. So if you want to send in questions or thoughts, we will be able to respond to you either way. Just had a scheduling conflict, so we couldn't do it live here. With that out of the way, my general thoughts was I loved it. This one, it still had that sitcom element, but it was kind of breaking that mold a little bit since we're now introduced Rambo and the FBI agent and their attempts to try and understand what's going on too, which is kind of I love that about the show because that's kind of like us represented as a character in the show, like trying to figure out what's going on and slowly figuring out that when you know, like the comments that were made about the things that go in turn into that time period. But what if you send in something that's already from that time period?
So smart.
Yeah, I never would have thought to do something like that. So Rambo is just becoming one of my favorite characters of the show. And she's a good actress too. Every time she's on screen, it's like, I wonder how come I've never seen her in anything before, because she's really talented.
She's gonna be huge now. I think she has like a even brighter future going forward.
Yeah, well, everyone does when they do a Marvel movie. Yeah. It's like they come in like we were talking like weeks ago about Taika. How he no one really knew who Taika was.
Now with Chloe Zhao.
Oh yeah,
like we just were talking about that
because she was just announced to be making a new Dracula movie,
and she's gonna do Eternals, and she's like on her way to like get a bunch of awards. I mean, the MCU's out here like making stars.
Yeah, she won the Golden Lion, which is the most prestigious award for independent filmmakers, and that's how she got the Eternals movie. And now she's making a Dracula, and so I'm excited to see what she does too, because I hear nothing but like amazing things about Eternals. So, and I know nothing about it, so I'm even more excited about that. But anyway, about WandaVision, the whole like, I love when I've already said it, but when they break the tone and it's in the sitcom world, but then it like starts to like unfold, and I guess the characters start to become a little self-aware that they're like, what are we doing in like a sitcom world or whatever. And Paul Bettany did a great job in this one. He scared me. Wanda scared me before with like just her character and how she was reacting to the things, and now Paul Bettany's character, I I think he's a great actor, and sometimes he doesn't get the
Okay.
chance to do that much with Vision.
Mm,
But now it looks like he finally is, and I love. There's just so much to talk about with this episode, but
yeah.
it's great. So I guess we can kind of start at the top
Hmm.
with the opening credits, because I know you wanted to talk about that,
Yes.
because that's her
So,
favorite every single episode.
I
The
mean,
opening
I'm
music and
so
stuff.
glad that we got one this week because last week, I mean, we had one of the best TV openings probably ever, but we didn't get the
Yeah.
opening sequence and it made me so sad. And finally, we get to the 80s and how we were talking about like probably 90s as well, because I mean, during this opening sequence, we have more like, I think it was Growing Pains and I forget the other show, Family Ties. Like, it kind of seemed like, I don't know if you ever went to those photo booths at the mall where you have a portrait but it paints it and it starts it as a sketch and starts
No.
painting it. Really? Because that's exactly what this opening reminded me of. The first part with like
Oh.
Wanda's powers holding the brush, and it's a sketch, and at the end you see the full picture.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
I
mean
did
maybe it's
like
just
the
like in
watercolor
Texas
thing.
when I used to visit from in there. I had like a photo of my brother and I, and it would like sketch it out, and it was showing it as a kind of like how when you save something on Procreate and it like makes it for you.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that, and I'm just like, it made me really nostalgic. And then, I mean, of course, we have the elephant in the room. Baby Vision.
Huh?
And speaking of that, I was kind of, I don't know which one I would have preferred. I thought this was hilarious, but it would have been really funny to have him as Jarvis or like a CPU or
Mhm.
something, and then maybe like him as like a full Paul Bettany adult, but like in a little school uniform or something. That would be so funny to
Yeah.
me. But like, I mean, Wanda out here is like literally making up his backstory and like basically retconning it for him because
Yeah.
he doesn't remember who he is. Like in this world, he thinks that he was this child and he grew up to be this man. And I'm just so confused as to like how that would work out. Like, did she make that real, or is it just like implanting memories?
I don't know. I don't even know if that's in Vision's mind, because remember he
Right.
says he doesn't remember anything before
Yeah. Oh,
Westview.
that was. Oh my god, we need to talk about that too.
Yeah. But the opening was great, and then you had one more thing to say about that outro to it
Oh,
as well.
so yes. So the thing is, it ends like with a picnic sequence. So that would probably. I hope we do get like a Full House
A fuller
reference,
house.
a Fuller House. But I thought it was really cool that it ended on that. I just wish they had made like some sort of reference with the twins to be like Mary Kate and Ashley, but I thought maybe that would hit too close to home or something. But I thought it was really funny how they literally played into that. And it does make sense that it would bleed in the 80s and the 90s because within the episode, Tommy and Billy age up like at least like 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
So,
Let's talk about the kids.
yes,
Talk about
okay.
that. So it started off with the infants,
Yes, they were
right?
like still literally crying and with their little binkies throwing them out and nonstop crying. And suddenly they're just 5.
Yeah.
It just
They turn around and they're not in the cribs anymore.
and it was weird how Wanda was saying, "Don't grow." Like she's the one doing this, unless the kids are, because the kids, as far as I remember, they don't have aging powers.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe it's because they're not like the real kids. Don't tell Wanda, but they're not real.
Well,
But
could
yeah.
it be that even if whether they're not real or they are real, whether they're a figment of her mind or a
Mhm,
figment of someone else's
mhm,
creation, or they are in fact real, do you
yeah.
think that they possess the same powers that she does? Because it seemed like they were in control of
Yeah,
their own growth
that was
without Wanda
weird.
knowing.
Or do you I mean, maybe the thing is, like, as far as I remember, they literally only have, like, Wiccan would have the magical powers, but not as strong as Wanda's. And I mean, Tommy would just be a speedster. So I don't know. Or maybe is it because she's technically still scripting the show?
Could be.
Or maybe it's not to go into like further things that we'll talk about, but Mephisto going and playing with her mind.
Yeah. And so they age up once, not just once, but twice.
Twice.
And the second time they do, they go from
5
this
to
age to 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of funny because they were like, you can't have a dog till you're 10. They were like, okay,
Okay.
we'll just be 10. And I don't know. The kids they're kind of weird,
Who needs fake
they
IDs, right?
right. So the idea is that, if them aging up ages up the world around them,
Yeah. Whoa.
right? Because we did see a change from 80s to 90s as far as the hairstyle went and the clothes, because the clothes looked even more 90s towards the end there.
Yeah.
But when they sent in that drone, they did say it was from the 80s.
Yeah. I think
So was that before the dog died?
When they were 5. It was before the dog died.
Oh, okay.
Also, speaking of the dog, oh my god, how dare they kill the dog? But also, that was so creepy how they're like talking about how you can't bring people back and all that. And they're like, no, 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 mom, you did this before. You can do it. Like, we know you can do it. Just bring the dog back. And Agnes is out here like, no, don't. Like, Agnes is like, Wanda, don't, bitch, don't you do it.
Well, that's interesting because Agnes, so when she first appears,
oh,
right?
yeah, that was a lot.
She is definitely aware of
Oh,
this world,
Definitely.
this hex dome that has been created.
Oh, this is catching
And
Sorry.
because at this scene on the screen here, when she first arrives, she asks, "Do you want me to redo that? Do you want me to come in from the top?
Yeah.
And make it drop." That's a Agnes. That's a and
that's a Wanda as punishment. I don't know.
a WAP. You heard it here first. But yeah, so I mean, she's obviously aware, and she doesn't have, repercussions for knowing. It seems like Wanda knows too,
because she's just out here aging up her children, making stuff up out of nowhere in front of her. Now she kind of just doesn't care.
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy.
But then when she sees the dog at the end, and she kind of plays dumb and is like, "Oh, Wanda, you can do that."
Yeah,
right? I felt like she was acting again. I feel like she knows that Wanda can do that, and she knows she did it to Vision.
Yeah, I mean, she does seem kind of concerned though, so it can kind of be either way. I think she does know to some degree because she's aware that she's playing a role, literally.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, she seems concerned. Maybe not that she can do it, but that she's done it. Oh my god, sorry.
So what was that? I know nothing about it, but what is that fan theory about Agnes, that she's some kind of
she's a witch.
ancient witch?
Yeah, so it would be
Agatha
Harkness.
Oh,
so
okay.
Agnes.
Okay.
But literally, she was kind of like a mentor to Wanda. So maybe she was trying to put her systems like some therapy or something, and it just keeps going wrong or something like that. I don't know.
Well, remember I told you after we saw it that what if I still don't believe that it's just Wanda doing everything in the dome and that someone else is, yeah. And so say that it's Agnes, for example. If it is her, then what if she's using Wanda to try and get the keys to creating life or reanimating life like she did to Vision? Hence the importance of that dog scene. And when we find out that she stole Vision's dead corpse from Sword. Weird. And so if not Agnes, I think someone is trying to figure out how to use their powers to discover other frontiers of like science and magic and stuff like that. And one of them being like to control life, like bring it things to life, or in other words, to influence the midichlorians to create life. So Palpatine is going to return in this episode.
It's all Palpatine, dude. Speaking, we'll go back to that. Not Palpatine, but we'll go back to who it might possibly be and how that might tie into more stuff in the Marvel Cinematic Universe future.
Yeah.
And how that might be manifesting, because I have a theory.
So what about Vision. We haven't talked about Vision yet
Oh
because
my
he had a
God.
very interesting journey on
Oh,
this
yeah.
episode.
So, I mean, we've seen that Vision is like unsettled from time to time. And I mean, he's looked directly at the camera, like at some scenes, and just looked at Wanda very kind of like just creeped out and concerned before.
Yeah.
But this episode, he's like fully been having his eyes open.
Yep.
So he was out here hanging with his friend at work, and oh my God, this unsettled me so much. So yeah, they get the communication from Sword, and he's just like, wow, joke email. So funny. What should we respond? And he's like, no, like I think this is real. So he, I mean, having his powers, he will literally be able to like tap into people's like mind and see what is actually going on in there. And I mean, like we've been thinking and like how it's been kind of talked about, she is having these people hostage and in their own minds and their own homes, but like they have no idea what's going on. They're being made to say the things they say, made to do the things they do, look the way they do. So he's completely just like destroyed. He thinks like, where's my phone? I have to talk to my family. Where's everyone? What am I doing? Who am I? Like, and then he will call out Wanda, and oh my God, the scene was also so like funny at the same time because of like the credits. She was trying to like end the conversation, be like, no, roll credits. And Vision's like, no, we actually need to talk about this. You can't hide these things from me. Like she's kind of gaslighting Vision in this episode, and it makes me feel really bad because I mean, this guy, he literally was dead, and she against his wishes brought him back, and it's kind of using him as a puppet to like live out her like life that she wanted, which I understand. It's really sad, but at the same time, like that's not the right way to go about things. Don't put people through stuff they don't want to be put through. Like that's not really cool. It was cool though that they were like talking about it for once.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you think.
Both of those scenes that were up on the screen here, the one where he's confronting his coworker about the message that came up on the computer, and the one where him and Wanda have a big fight and start to like their power against each other a little bit, are both scenes that stuck out the most to me because I love when the MCU kind of messes with and disturbs genre filmmaking because it's breaking that sitcom world and going into the real world, but it's also dark and creepy. And yeah, like you said, at this scene where it's revealed that these people are under control of Wanda and they have no ability to do anything about it. It was terrifying because it's like, imagine being in that situation. It's like almost like being in a coma, where there's literally nothing you can do, but you're still experiencing everything through that control of someone else.
It's kind of like The Sunken Place.
What's The Sunken Place?
Like from Get Out. Because they're still aware, but like they're not in control of what they're doing, and they're made to live out this whole other life with someone else in the driving seat. And Wanda was out here deflecting, being like, oh, I'm not in control of them. I don't take them to the dentist. I'm like, you kind of do though. But you're out here like controlling who their identities are. That's kind of a little bit more than mowing their lawn. Like she was trying to be like, oh, that's silly. I'm like, girl, you're literally one of the most powerful beings in the whole universe, but okay.
Yeah,
and they revealed that she might even be more powerful that she's letting on.
Right.
So that's, I mean, what exactly, like, is she more powerful than Captain Marvel? I mean, I thought normally that they're like pretty much like toe to toe.
Yeah,
we'll go into that too.
It could be. Back again to this scene here of when Wanda and Vision have their fight. Yeah, like you said, how she was trying to end the conversation by rolling the credits, but he was trying to keep it going, and the tone was shifting. They revealed their powers to one another. They started turning on each other, which has never been seen before by them, because they were kind of like an ideal couple for a little while. And it makes me just appreciate the whole show, because this show is literally like nothing we've ever seen before. You can't compare it to anything else because it's so different. And that's what I love about the MCU and what they're doing, because it's not just a simple, it's not like, oh, we're going to make a TV show for Disney Plus because we can.
Right. It's
Yeah,
not a money grab. Like they're trying to tell a story here.
this seemed like a thought out necessary story to tell about these characters. And the reason why I think this works as a television show compared to other TV series or miniseries or episodical storytelling is because we already know the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why every episode is so riveting and enjoyable with great narrative is because everything there's exposition is over. We already know everything about the world. We know everything about these characters and kind of context about what has happened in the past. So it's just enjoying a ride. It's not, we're not waiting in the line to get on the roller coaster anymore. We're just on the roller coaster taking the turns. Yeah. And that's why I think this show separates from other shows. And I think future shows can learn from it instead of taking a TV series and then adapting a movie afterwards, or like taking a movie or movies and adapting it to television seems to be, at least in my opinion, working in favor of the audience and also the storytellers as well, because there's more time to tell a story on a television show, but without all the boring exposition and stuff like that. It's every episode is great and it's fun, but overall the show is so different. And it stands out to me among everything else I've ever seen.
I've seen a lot of people too that they kind of like put the show like aside. They're like, oh, what can be so interesting about Wanda and Vision? I'm like, really? I know in the movies we haven't seen that much of them because it's mostly been focused on like Tony, Cap, like even for some reason Clint, like stuff like that. Like it's they haven't been able to show that much of them, but I think they have such an interesting relationship and like literally gone through hell and back. And I mean, they even have like in this universe, they have origins in common, kind of in a way. Oh my God. Sorry, my voice is still waking up. But I mean, literally, Strucker was able to like bring out their abilities for Wanda and Pietro through the Mind Stone. And Vision is like the embodiment pretty much of like the Mind Stone, like brought to life from it. So they even have like that connection bringing them together. And they've gone like he's been able to like ground her and she's been able to like bring him to show more of like his human side. He's changed so much and she has too. And I mean, it makes sense that people would want to see like to make the show to camera to bring their relationship to the forefront and kind of talk more about them and show people how interesting these characters are, because in the comics, I mean, people know that they've been doing so much and they're so important, but it kind of breaks my heart when people are like, oh, it's just a throwaway show because it's just two side characters. I'm like, no.
Well, I thought it was going to be too, honestly. Yeah. When they announced they're doing a WandaVision show, I was like, really? Out of everything you can do, you're going to do those two people? I love them in MCU, but the same thing happened with The Mandalorian. Like I was like, why are you going to make a show about a Mandalorian
man?
Yeah, it just seemed off to me, but it's just a matter of like having good storytellers, good actors, a good concept. And I was wrong. I've been wrong about the MCU every time I watch one of their movies because I wasn't a fan of the idea of Doctor Strange. It took me 3 years to go watch that movie, and when I finally did, I was like, what was I thinking? I should never doubt Kevin Feige because
pretty much do no wrong.
He's very methodical. He knows what he's doing. For the Star Wars fans out there, he's like a Thrawn. He takes every step very seriously, and he knows what his outcome is going to be like at all times. He's got a vision, a WandaVision. And speaking of the making of the show, can I read from the article real quick?
Yeah.
Because this kind of ties into what we're talking about here. So this is an article from Digital Spy. I will link it below if you guys want to check it out. Now, here we go. It should be on the screen now.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so WandaVision boss Jack Schaefer, who we've talked about on the show many times, had a lot of headaches planning to the show. So this is talking about how she came up with the idea and stuff like that. The first 4 episodes have now landed on Disney Plus, with a mystery-filled series has certainly kicked off Phase 4 in an intriguing fashion. It's filled with Easter eggs, hidden hints, Marvel callbacks, and also ranks the or marks the return of MCU characters we've met in movies, including Monica Rambeau, etc. So many of the puzzle pieces to put together, it's no surprise that the show's boss Jack Schaefer had a lot of headaches while planning out the plot. So here's a quote from her about the reveal of putting everything together on a logistical nightmare. She says, "I think that when we were breaking the story, it was really hard. We had a lot of goals. There were a lot of different levels. I had a lot of memories. When I think about the early stages of breaking it, I remember a lot of headaches and just being like, how do we hold this all in? We had so many different systems and color coding and formats to make it all work, and the decision making of what's too much, what's gilding the lily, what's not enough. All of those early development decisions are really hard." She also went on to say, and then the production phase of it, Matt and Mark Worthington and Maze Ruby and Rubo and all the people involved in the actual execution of it, it was a dream because it was so beautiful, because of all the beautiful stuff that came together so incredibly well. And all of these people are at the top of their game. So that was only challenging it in the grind of production, in the grind of production. And then it's just been the weight of wanting to see everyone to see it. So there was some additional quotes from her about this. This is Jack, about how when she was coming up with the idea of actually how to make it realistically believable that this would be a television show. And she explained that she actually got that idea in college because her roommate was an electrical technical major in something like that, in like radio waves and all that kind of stuff. So she actually learned from her college roommate how to make it believable that a show could be transmitted from a world like that. And I thought it was in
back deep.
Yeah, I thought it was in this article that she talked about it. I guess I clicked on the wrong one, but that's a gist of it. But she's obviously very talented, and she seems like a very smart woman. I mean, the show is very complex when you think about it. You can tell intelligent because in order for this show to have been like greenlit by Kevin Feige, it had to have like the perfect pitch. And I can't imagine how you pitch a show like this because it's so different. And to get someone on board with it, but it's
There's
great.
No room from error, pretty much.
It
has to be like pitch it right in the first, like you have to do it in this amount of time, sell them on it, and show them that you're able to do this extremely ambitious task.
Yeah. And why I wanted to bring that up was because she talks about the writing process and how she wanted to make it as scientifically accurate as possible, which is kind of weird to think about because it's a show about a dome and superheroes and whatever, but the science behind it being transmitted to a television series is actually real. Like that is scientifically accurate.
Adding realism to something so fantastical to bring it to be like, oh, this could happen.
And like the cosmic radiation that helps transform everything, and the instruments that Darcy's using, and like that's all real stuff. And it's just really cool how they can relate it back to our world and make it even more believable and stuff like that.
That makes sense then why they would bring back Darcy, because she could be the one of the characters who could put that exposition to like explain what's going on and make it sound real. Because otherwise, I mean, they could have like, I don't know, just Jimmy or some like other person be like, oh yeah, this is what happens. Like, no, like they've already pretty much established that magic is like science, like extreme science, and stuff like that. So like, yeah, it makes sense to bring like a scientist to explain something so fantastical and be like, no, this is legit. Like, believe me, I'm a doctor, kind of thing. Like, yeah, it would make sense. I mean, literally, Doctor Strange is a doctor too, but that's a different kind of doctor. He's a magician and a doctor.
So let's talk about the scene with Wanda when she breaks the fourth wall.
Oh,
because that was a terrifying scene.
Oh my god, I was so scared that she was about to just like.
And honestly, like everyone knew there's going to be some kind of cameo in the show, and I thought this was going to be the moment that a cameo was revealed. Honestly.
Oh, here?
Yeah, because it kind of like really built up the moment of someone walking out of that dome.
Oh,
And I thought it was going to be some random person that we've
Yeah.
never seen before, but that would be like coming in to explain what's going on or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was Wanda, and she was terrifying.
Yeah, the whole thing where like oh my god, the head of Sword, I just want to punch him in the face for being such an idiot and
He's really
horrible. Like he literally tried to like nuke Wanda.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what's wrong with you? Do you know who this woman is? Like, she will kick your ass like in 1 second. Like, he literally tried to like throw a missile at her. Then everything goes down. They don't know what's going on, and then she comes out mad as ever, like Thanos angry level. Like I thought that she was just gonna be like, "You try to take everything away from me," and he'll be like, "I know exactly who you are," or something like that. But I mean, she kind of just said like, "Hey, I got what I want. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Bye." But she still, I mean, oh my god, when she pointed back, like when she controlled those like army guys to like point at him.
Oh yeah.
That freaked me out when they had like all the mind control dies.
Yeah.
Like, just like, ooh. Because that's probably what the people inside Westview look like if they didn't have the production design. Like they're probably all like,
yeah, they have
look.
some kind of mask on. Yeah, it's interesting to see, and that scene really kind of introduced a whole lot of more problems that they could face going forward. Sword in that case, and Monica's trying to tell her we understand whatever. One thing I said was, what if, like, at the rate that the show is going, as far as like the time lapse aspect of it, her kids are about to almost going to be adults soon, and so
they're 10.
she's not really causing harm to anybody. I mean, yeah, she's controlling them, but like, why not just let her like live out her fantasy, because she's got maybe like a couple more days, since they're going years by and every single day. So why not just let her live out her fantasy, and then maybe she'll like be more open to negotiating, like, okay, here's all the people back, like, unless she like keeps going back and restarting her life. She has
control, so she can basically have it not end, though.
Yeah. I mean, there's tons of TV shows she could like do different types of styles and stuff, but that was interesting. And so then after that, Monica Rambeau and Jimmy Woo and Darcy all start talking about alternatives and who they can ask to come help. And something interesting happened.
Oh,
something very dramatic happened. Darcy recommended. Was it Darcy who recommended?
Darcy. Because I mean, there's only like one other person that's been known to like, first of all, have survived an Infinity Stone and have gotten like powers from it or stem from being exposed to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, Monica also knows her.
Yep.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, so that interesting comment when Darcy was like, we could call Captain Marvel, and Rambeau just was like,
oh,
didn't really, she just shoved it off like, no, or whatever.
Like, what was, I wonder what happened. I think it might be just because she spent so much time in space again. She kind of felt left alone.
I think
she's sick. Maybe she didn't visit the mom.
I think she's upset, yeah, because of that. Maybe she didn't visit her mom in the hospital, but I mean, she's obviously taking care of planets and stuff like that. But that was very interesting to hear, which makes me, yeah, me too. Which makes me hope that Marvel does show up, so they can have like a dramatic confrontation.
Maybe they can make up and like be even stronger. Because I mean, we were talking about this. Like, what if? I mean, when Monica got like thrown out and broke the fourth wall, she was exposed to Wanda's powers and the radiation in it. Yeah. What if that's the source of her photon powers?
I definitely believe that. I think
we were
being exposed
that was gonna happen in this episode
to that cosmic radiation, she's gonna get some kind of power from that, and she's gonna come into a situation probably whenever they break into the dome. She's gonna have to fight Wanda, and she'll like block herself and accidentally like put up a shield or something and realize, oh, I have powers.
Yeah, oh, that'd be so cool.
And then that could, like, she was exposed to the radiation, which affects her biological state. And what if all the people that break into the hex or whatever get the same thing? Whoa. Thus, mutants are born.
Yeah, because I mean, Elizabeth Olsen had been mentioning that she when Ultron was like they're doing their press run, they would be like, "Oh, I want to do House of M," but they never do that because it's a little bit dark and it's a little bit crazy. And also, mutants they didn't have the rights at then, but now they own Fox. So I really think that she's gonna be like literally shape reality into bringing mutants into the world. So that could definitely be it. I don't know if every single person who like go in will be that, but I mean, they said her powers aren't only in that place,
Yeah.
or they're large enough to affect more than just Westview. So maybe Eastview. I'm kidding. Maybe more, and that's how she will literally break apart and like shape reality to bring mutants back. And speaking of that, we'll get back to that too.
Well, now there's evidence to back up that that could happen.
Yeah.
And also evidence that they're probably going to bring back some Fox characters from Marvel as well.
You
Do you
can't
want to talk about that?
moving my eyebrows. Oh, you can't. Oh my god.
Let's talk about it. Let's just jump into
so
it.
We need to talk about
The special cameo.
Evan Peters.
Boom. Look at that.
Oh my god. Pietro. Sorry, I had this spoiled for me. And I still scream because I love Quicksilver so much. He's such a cool character, and I mean, in the MCU we barely saw him, and he just kind of died.
When I saw when it shows the back of his head, I thought it was Magneto.
MCU. Oh,
because of he had like longer hair or whatever, and I don't
Like
know. I just thought it was, huh?
Like Fassbender?
No.
Or just like
Ian McKellen, Magneto.
Oh, okay.
I thought I don't know why I went to that first, but like it just looked like a silver fox or whatever,
Yeah.
and but no, it was this guy. Still shocking. I mean, even though it was like heavily implied there was going to be some kind of reveal this episode, it was still
debated
exciting.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, it was heavily debated. But so this introduces so many like new questions, right?
Yes.
What happened to her real brother? Is this her real brother, but in a different form? Is this a Skrull in disguise? Are they introducing the multiverse and saying that MCU Fox was its own separate universe inside of the same world, like galaxy? And you know what the hell is going on? Why doesn't Wanda why does she realize this as her actual like brother, like the kick-ass guy?
Right. Yeah, like it was so weird because I mean, you see him from the back and he has, I don't know if it's just the shot or anything, but the hair looks really different. From the back shot, he looked like MCU Pietro. And then when they show his face, he has this hair and it's Evan Peters. So I think it took her a moment to process it and she wanted to manifest her Pietro, but she manifested Peter.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So
she couldn't accept that it was her brother back, so she changed his look.
I mean, the thing is, she couldn't accept, and then she accepted him. So wouldn't it be the other way around?
Yeah.
I think she wanted to bring him back, but then because he is not in Westview, she had to bring some other Pietro because he was dead.
Yeah.
So I have a couple theories for this. So
yeah, can you talk about that? I'm gonna use the restroom real quick.
Oh, of course. Sorry, guys, you're stuck with me for a second. So okay, let's go. I don't know which one to start with. So one, I think either she did bring back a Pietro and she wanted to like manifest one, but she broke the multiverse, so she brought the X-Men Pietro into this world, hence like going into Doctor Strange with the whole Spider-Man thing, Multiverse of Madness. Or this is another person from Westview, maybe even the witness protection person, since it is implied to be a guy. Or even crazier, so it is Mephisto taking the form of a Quicksilver to try to like toy with Wanda. And that also goes into the whole Multiverse of Madness. Or I also saw this one other thing. I don't remember this character, but apparently Mephisto isn't the only person who could be possessing Quicksilver. And it could be, what was it, Chitol? It was this one character, and he also took over Quicksilver's body at one point. So we have a couple options. And honestly, with how crazy Marvel is going, either of them could be true. And I'm also kind of down for any of them. but something does seem off because she just took a second to like recognize him. Maybe it's kind of like an uncanny valley. It's like, oh, this kind of looks and feels like my brother, but that's not what his face looks like. That's not how I remember him looking. So it could really be anyone's guess at this point. I don't know if you heard anything that I said. Hi.
No.
Okay, should I go back from the top?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
Woo, he's back.
But yeah, this is gonna be. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Like what's gonna happen next? You know, how are they gonna address this to the audience? How is Sword going to react to this? They'll be like, "That's not Pietro."
Right, because they knew him.
Yeah. So this is gonna get crazy. It's gonna get, and to think we have like only 4 more episodes left, possibly 5 more episodes. There's a rumored secret 10th episode that hasn't been announced, so we'll have to see if that is real too. Did you talk about the Elizabeth quote yet?
No. So I had something to point out about
regarding the cameo. You know, 2 days ago or 3 days ago, Elizabeth Olsen was interviewed about WandaVision, saying like, a bunch of stuff, and this is where some of the rumors started about. I'll just double tap.
Okay.
And so I'll let Chris talk about the quote for that.
So I mean, I saw that the leaks had happened a couple days before this quote was released. So I don't know if it was either to like damage control or to make it look like it was on purpose or something. But it says Olsen hinted to TV Line another MCU vet could be making a visit to Westview, and not one that they had already heard about. So apparently, I mean, obviously she said it was going to be like on the level of Luke Skywalker coming back. And they said, oh, it hasn't leaked yet. And she said yes. And she didn't go into any specifics aside from she was excited. So I don't think it was Evan Peters at all. Because first of all, it says it hasn't been leaked yet. The casting call hadn't been leaked. And it said MCU vet. But it's weird because it said they haven't seen or... Oh, okay, heard about as in like leaked. But it says MCU vet. So it has to be someone from the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right.
It can't possibly be like Quicksilver, like Evan Peters Quicksilver. So sadly, this also throws out my Magneto theory.
Right, yeah.
Or what was it? What was the other one we were talking about? Oh, like Tobey Maguire. Because we also had like the whole like maybe it's Spider-Man.
But not to say that we still can't see those people, but it's interesting that she did say it's an MCU veteran.
Yes.
So a lot of people will assume this was the major cameo, and honestly, it is major. But it might not be the one that we were all led to believe is coming. I believe it's possibly a misdirect from Disney, because to kind of lead up like the Evan Peters, is that his name?
Yeah.
That this is the cameo you've been waiting for. Like, don't expect anything else, right? But actually, there's going to be something else coming up. As far as who that could be, I suggested. Well, none of mine makes sense anymore. But at the time, I suggested Chris Evans, but the Fantastic Four version of Chris Evans. So Johnny Storm.
Too, but like, I mean,
that wouldn't happen. I just thought it'd be fun.
I thought maybe we can get like, it'd be cool if it was like, because they said something about astronauts being stuck in space or something in the 4th episode. I think they mentioned something about space and people being stuck in there. So I'm like, oh, is it Reed Richards and Sue Storm? Is it the Fantastic Four? And I mean, they're scientists too, so they would be able to like know what's going on.
Apparently, the guy who went in the sewer, the bee guy, Franklin something, that's the name of Reed Richards' son.
What?
From the comics. It may have just been an Easter egg.
Maybe, yeah.
But that's what
like
I heard.
Thing.
Yeah, but I saw someone put that down there, and apparently Franklin Richards, was it Reed Richards?
Yeah.
So apparently Franklin Richards is like one of the most powerful beings in all of Marvel.
What?
I don't know anything about it. I'm just telling you what I heard.
Like some random sword agent.
That's why I think it was just like a little Easter egg, like hey, remember the comics? Like check that out.
I mean, because I know it's not confirmed or anything, but I'm hoping for Sue Storm and Reed Richards we get Emily Blunt and John Krasinski.
I hope so too.
They'd be so cute.
They would be perfect, and everyone would love that.
Mhm.
They would love it so much.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe and Jim and Pam. I'm kidding. It's Dwight. Identity theft is not a joke, Jim. Man's family suffer every year. But I honestly don't know. We also, I mean, this morning I mentioned, let's go crazy. What if it's Stan Lee?
And that would honestly be really
that would
good.
be the Lukiest level of Luke you can get.
Yeah, because if it's Luke level,
Has to be
you were
like,
also saying it's like it's either like
as
Tony,
Cap.
Stanley would be a
Stanley.
good one. Like there's a piece of B-roll out there somewhere that hasn't been used, and they sneak him into this. That would be absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I would love that. There was one thing I forgot to mention about Monica Rambeau and the Captain Marvel situation. When Darcy brought up Captain Marvel and she kind of shrugged it off, she did say, I know someone who would be perfect for this job. And then she sent a text. And I think she sent a text to Nick Fury because he's a part of the Sword space station, space district jurisdiction, and she's probably more in charge of like the ground jurisdiction. So I think she's going to call him. And I've been saying since the beginning, I think Nick Fury's coming,
He could,
and I think Captain Marvel is coming. I think both of them are going to be in the show.
Yeah,
because
that makes sense.
They Nick has a TV show coming, right? Nick Fury has a TV show or a miniseries.
Maybe.
I think I thought he did. I don't know.
I think I mean, he's probably going to show up in like most of them anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has his own. It'd be cool though. It'd be cool if they let him curse.
Yeah, I just want to throw that out there because there is still someone else coming that is possibly from the MC that we know about, but there is someone else coming to the show that is going to be a great reveal. I think that's what's going to happen. But
now we're looking forward to it, so like they better.
There was one question I had that could just be nothing, but each commercial that we've seen in every episode has something to do with Wanda's life. We had the Strucker watch. We had we had something else.
Oh,
the toaster from
toaster for
Tony Stark.
The Hydro Soak.
So
and then this last one is
what does
Lagos.
Paper towels have to do? What is Lagos?
So Lagos is the city that she destroyed in Civil War.
Oh, at the beginning of Civil War when she like tried to throw the bomb.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I knew it had something to do with her life. I couldn't remember what it was. Okay.
And also somebody pointing this out, it's kind of weird how the most ominous commercial is the one that's Stark. So what if it's some sort of Hydra influence to try to be like, hey, remember these things from your life? This one, we're going to put relaxing imagery with Hydra, and we're going to put like, oh, look, paper towels to clean up your mess. And like, oh, what was the other one? A watch, so you can, it's useful, but then they're like having weird beeping with Stark. Or maybe it was Morse code and we just haven't decided, like, just deciphered it. And it's trying to, like, there's also a message hidden in there.
Well, yeah, they all feel kind of like, well, they feel like early 2000s American war brain manipulation. What is it called? Brainwashing.
Yeah, like subliminal messaging.
Yeah, because back in the early 2000s, remember like the Iraq war, brainwashing was like a huge deal, and all they did was like play videos in front of these people, which is terrible, and then they would it was just different images and different like subliminal messages, like propaganda style, and that's what a lot of these commercials feel like Wanda is being brainwashed, or she's brainwashing the audience of the show. I don't know.
Why would she be like, hey, Stan Hydra? Like, no.
I don't know, but it's like everything is going to like, it's going to be weird when this show is over. Every little thing is going to make sense.
Yeah.
Like, and we still technically don't know the significance of the two storks being there. Like why she couldn't use her powers against them.
Right.
She had no influence over them. Her powers didn't work. Similar to how
her powers working against her, like backfiring, or like her manifesting stuff without like her subconscious kind of thing.
Because her powers also didn't work on her children.
Yeah.
So because she had to force them, like, hey, don't turn, and then also she couldn't shut them up when they were crying in bed.
Yeah.
So it's, and then with the commercials and everything like that, I think it's all gonna come together, and it's gonna be a very I don't know. It's just so
it's kind of
different.
like conflicting like waves, kind of like
Yeah.
canceling stuff out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like maybe someone's like interfering with it, and
Yeah.
something like that probably.
Anyway, I'm excited.
Yes,
I don't know
I'm
what to expect next. I hope it's the
excited.
Halloween episode. I don't know why, but I'm really
I
I'm really looking forward to that for some reason.
I mean,
Because of the costumes, I think they're
the
cool.
costumes are so cute, and also, I think this is the episode with like with Halloween costumes where Vision will find out he's dead, because you said in the commercial like she, unless that was a misdirect, like because Marvel likes to film stuff to like throw people off. But I think he will find out.
I think it will be the next one, and I think when he finds out from Agnes, that's when because in the promo for this week's episode, it showed him going through the dome wall.
He's gonna start like further questioning everything and try to see what is outside.
Yeah,
he's able to too, because
this one has so many so many setups, so much ambiguity, because like he's obviously dead. Vision is dead, but how is he coming back to life without the Mind Stone? And we do know it is Vision because she stole the body.
Yeah.
But it's like,
I mean, this is gonna all tie in also. I mean, with the whole thing with Loki and the whole reversing of them, like the Infinity Stones, could she have gained access to it? Or is his corpse literally just going around and it wasn't a vision, but it's in her head of his corpse?
Okay, because you said that, check this out. What if the cameo is Captain America, but it's not old Cap, it's young Cap. And young Cap comes back because he went through the time ordinance by Loki. And then Loki turned him into young Cap and sent him back to this time period. And that's the cameo that's coming back at the end. What if that happens?
I mean, Chris Evans.
It could be wrong, but he is coming back as Captain. So like it, yeah. That was by a Variety and Hollywood Reporter, so it's real. I don't know. You said something that just made me think, like the time and everything like that.
What if Johnny Storm does? I'm kidding. He's like, I'm hot because I'm a flame. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I know I'm in it either way. I don't have. That's all I have to say about this episode. Do you have anything?
I might be forgetting something, but yeah, it seems pretty good so far. I'm just really excited. I want it to be Friday again because this is.
I don't know.
Sorry, we just had like a weird image of some person with like Olaf's head on him, and it kind of freaked me out. What if it's Elsa?
That's the cameo.
She's part of the Princess Avengers. What do you mean?
And on that note,
anyway,
that's it for today's episode. Yeah, all done. So. I think we covered everything.
Let us know what you thought about the show, about the episode, about this episode. If you have any other theories or comments, or if you're gonna call us out for getting something wrong, anything,
put them in the comments. Yeah, put them in the comments. Like this video; it helps out a ton. Sorry, 1 second. I gotta work on this camera thing. It's so annoying.
The camera shy.
If you are listening on the podcast, feel free to head over to the YouTube, check out some of the videos there. There's more than just the live streams. You can check out other content as well. We do Star Wars episodes every week, every Monday and Wednesday. We'll be back live on Monday with a new episode of Han Talks First, talking about Star Wars and some new stuff that's happening there. And we will be back next Friday at noon to talk about Wanda episode 6. And we'll see how far our speculations came to fruition or not. We could just be completely wrong.
We can just make some new ones if we're wrong.
Yep. That's what we're here for. But please tell your friends, share this show with everyone you know so that we can talk with more people and share our love for WandaVision. Check out our social medias down below and follow us there. You can ask us questions, whatever. But thank you so much for watching today. And we will see you guys very soon. Bye.